Okay, Final Destination Bloodlines 2025. This R-rated film can be found on HBO Max and can be found on Amazon to buy or rent. While the Final Destination series isn't necessarily something I see myself leaning into wanting to talk about, they are all the same concept, just different faces, and nothing to take too seriously. We know the acting can be rather awful, and the characters are pretty dumb. But some people feel like they still get entertainment out of these movies, something that you can just put on in the background or what have you, and people really do enjoy these franchises for what they are. For folks who aren't familiar with the Final Destination movies, they're basically about characters who try to cheat death, thanks to a premonition, only to find that death doesn't like to be outsmarted. The movies usually consist of a series of elaborate and often outrageous death scenes, where fate conspires to take back those who escaped it. Final Destination's Bloodline 2025, however, was way more entertaining than I expected it to be. It's not going to win an Oscar, but who can resist this thrilling absurdity? The movie flipped the script with a refreshing blend of dark humor and the story plot. This isn't your typical scare fest. The movie knows exactly what it is. An unapologetically campy ride with fate's twisted games of wildly ridiculous deaths that are ridiculously funny then frightening in the best way possible. The movie really got me with its over the top deaths. Seeing the telltale signs of what's going to happen to these people, and then come to find out that you couldn't be more wrong of the outcome. Instead of just waiting for the next death to happen, it actually had me in awe with just how absurd everything was. And I loved it for that. I thought the acting was good enough for what they were trying to accomplish in this movie. And that's one of the reasons why I think that sets this movie apart from the other ones. It's kind of like the comedy horror that you would find in like Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which is also a good movie. If you have not seen that, go check that out as well. Bloodlines has its way of taking your expectations and totally shitting on them. With new directors with all Final Destinations throughout the years, the directors for this one straight up said, "Hold my beer," and came up with this absurdity that focuses on comedic timing and outrageous deaths that yeah, you just don't know. You don't know. It is a wild ride that revels in its own madness. What is new about the characters who try to cheat death is due to a dream premonition by the protagonist, who's a young woman named Stephanie. She keeps having these reoccurring dreams about dying in a fire that occurred in the 1960s. She realizes that it is not a dream, but it is actually a premonition of the fate that awaits her family. In hopes of finding more answers, but no one is willing to give her those answers, mainly because of the crazy, batshit crazy lineage that came before her. She eventually gets the answers that she is looking for from her grandmother, who escaped the same fate years ago. And now death is coming for Stephanie's entire family, and she must find a way to stop it before it's too late. As the movie centers on the group of family and friends who had an unfortunate deaths within the family, they all become way more cautiously aware and are actually tiptoeing and dancing around all these landmines that are just quite interesting. They take every precaution to keep themselves safe, thanks to this premonition. Each character has eccentricities, adding to the film's comedic timing. As they tend to touch fate, they encounter a series of absurd scenarios. It is a increasingly bizarre situation and a wild blend of horror and comedy that is to ensure you are going to be entertained, unlike the other ones. Bloodlines embraces humor with death sequences that are intentionally over the top, and each character is a bizarre spectacle. It is a good watch of fate's cruel hand that nods to its franchised roots. I got a lot of enjoyment out of this movie, and if you know Final Destination movies, you're very aware of what you're getting into. But this one has a way of breaking the fourth wall, which I do very much appreciate, and leveled with its audience. And I thank it for that. So if you want something to watch this weekend for the hell of it, or just to experience this wild ride, I'd say totally go for it. and let me know your thoughts if you do. Also, thank you so much for watching these videos. I do tend on doing more. I'm trying to actually make some with a little bit more B-roll in them, but editing can be very time consuming, so I really appreciate you guys actually taking the time to just listen to me talk about them. If you do enjoy my content, please give me a like or follow, a comment on this comment section. Let me know what you think or any suggestions to other movies. I really would appreciate that. Anyway, thank you so much for the support. Bye.